A young mother.
He meant the world to her, and she was a loving mother.
A sick child.
He's curled up in a ball in tremendous amount of pain.
But was it an unexplained illness?
There were red flags, obviously.
Or prolonged torture?
It's something that will haunt me.
All leading to this horrific discovery.
We actually had to watch a video of a 5-year-old child being murdered.
Lacey Spears grew up in Decatur, Alabama, and this all-American girl loved American Girl dolls.
And she would live through them. For Lacey, it seemed to be a much bigger thing.
Soon, Lacey's love of dolls grew into a profound love for real children, too.
She always wanted to be looking after children. And when she left school, she went into childcare.
Right away, Lacey wanted children of her own. And her dreams came true when she got pregnant and gave birth to a beautiful little boy she named Garnett. But motherhood got off to a rocky start when at just 9 days old, Garnett became so ill that he had to be hospitalized.
Within days, she was taking him to hospital and complaining that he wasn't eating and he was failing to thrive and he was getting all these infections and everything.
This will be just one of dozens of trips they will make to the doctor to address Garnett's growing list of mysterious health issues.
The doctors were baffled by the various diseases which were inexplicable.
Most notably, Lacey told doctors that Garnett would not eat. Then this unusual request.
Now, he had a feeding tube at one point.
That was put in about when he was 8 months old. She asked to have a feeding tube put in because she said he was a failure to thrive child.
But Lacey didn't stop there with her son's surgeries.
And he also had another procedure to close up his throat so he couldn't regurgitate or be sick.
That's right. Now, Garnett will be fed through a tube and is no longer able to throw up. His little body is forced to ingest everything his mother is feeding him.
She wanted to be able to control what he ate.
And from Garnett's daily diet to his frequent hospital visits, it was all documented on Lacey's multiple social media websites. It appeared that this growing online community is where this young single mom turned for support, comfort, and sympathy. Lacey even kept a detailed blog called Garnett's Journey, as seen here in one update she wrote. September, what a month, and it's only half over. Garnett has enjoyed driving his tractor through our neighborhood, playing in the rain, riding his bike for hours, and we spent a few days in the hospital. And despite Garnett's laundry list of medical treatments...
Was Garnett actually a sick kid?
According to Lacey, he was a very sick kid. Everybody else never saw any of that.
Now, Garnett has visited 20 different medical facilities, but Lacey claims there is still no relief for her little boy. Appearing desperate for a cure, Lacey and her son moved to Florida. There, she discovers a possible solution for her son's medical needs.
When Lacey said she wanted to change her son's diet over to a holistic diet, she was introduced to some people that said, you know, this is a place where the way they live fits the diet that we think your son might thrive with.
Looking for the ultimate in holistic food, Lacey and Garnett move again, this time to the secluded area of Chestnut Ridge, New York, to a place called the Fellowship Community with a focus on sustainable living and a farm-to-table diet.
I mean, she came into the Fellowship Community and she told everyone about Garnett, the terrible illnesses he'd had over his life. There were a lot of people that, were convinced that Lacey was a great mother, she looked after Garnett.
Lacey and Garnett are welcomed with open arms. Garnett, now a lively and happy little 5-year-old boy, begins to make friends and hang out with other families. Then, the oddest thing starts to happen.
Whenever he'd be with other, friends, or they'd take him to the local diner and he'd wolf as much as he could. He always asked for seconds or thirds.
He was hungry.
Yeah, he was hungry.
And by many accounts, a normal kid.
Yeah, he had a very, very healthy appetite. But Lacey would say he never ate.
Eyebrows begin to rise. Lacey's new neighbors aren't seeing any of the signs of the sick child she's chatted about all these years on her social media accounts. But their suspicion turns to sympathy when Lacey shares some devastating news.
You know, initially she had told me that her fiancé, the baby's father, Blake, had perished. He was a former policeman who was killed in a tragic car accident.
Blake's death appeared to be heartbreaking for Lacey, as seen on our blog post. Lacey wrote, November, celebrated Garnett's first Thanksgiving home and our first without Daddy Blake. As the community of Chestnut Ridge rallies around Lacey, new questions surface about their new neighbor and her ailing son.
And there were certain suspicions that something was going on, but nobody could really put their finger on what she was doing.
Up next, Garnett's appetite appears to be growing stronger.
Eat everything.
What did that say to you?
That she's a liar.
And the shocker about his dad's death.
Daddy Blake.
Daddy Blake.
A young boy who's bouncing in the bed one moment, and within 10 minutes, deathly ill.